Well, I'm on the phone with MDI head football coach Mark Shields, as we are every Monday and Thursday during football season. And Coach, an odd weekend for you, having Friday night off, and even with the Oceanside Foxcroft Academy game getting moved to Saturday, you really had Friday night off.
Yeah, it was kind of strange to have a Friday night off for sure, and from the football field. And yeah, it worked out such that the weather was so poor that I actually had a family night, which is really bizarre for me, and it was nice for my family.
Did you reintroduce yourself? Hi, I'm Mark.
Yeah.
And, have a little name tag or anything?
Right. I'm Dad. They're like, who? Yeah, so we just had some time as a family and chilled out. It was fun, and then Saturday I wasn't able to get down to see the Oceanside Foxcroft game because my son actually had his own football game that I was watching, and my wife and my two daughters headed down to Boston for the weekend to do some looking at colleges for my oldest daughter Madeline. So
exciting!
So so it was a boys' weekend for my son and I, and but I was lucky enough that Coach Arnold and Coach Braun were able to get down there and see them, and then we were able to get the film. So we have had a chance to look at that game tape for Foxcroft Oceanside.
So let's just talk briefly about that. It's certainly a game of turnovers, and I think Oceanside turned the ball over 5-6 times, and it's impossible to win. Hey, remember the Winslow game when you turn the ball over that many times.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at the final score. I think it was 27-7. Should have been a lot closer. Probably a one-touchdown ball game. Foxcroft turned the ball over 6 times. Oceanside turned it over 4 times, but the turnovers were much more costly for Foxcroft. They had 1 turnover. They were getting ready to score, and they fumbled on the 1-yard line, and then they were getting ready to score another drive, and they fumbled on the 4-yard line. So there's 2 touchdowns right there that they should have had. So turnovers, we know in big games are costly, and you just cannot win the football game most of the time. And I'm sure Foxcroft's down there thinking today, if they had protected the football, especially where Oceanside turned it over 4 times, that it would have been a much different ball game for them.
So, and the other thing is, I guess Oceanside has brought in a new kicker, someone who played on the soccer team and had pretty good success converting extra points.
Yeah, I didn't know he actually came over from the soccer team, but it's definitely a different kid. I think his number is 26. Looking on tape, they had Dabrowski, their quarterback, number 3, was kicking for him, which obviously he wasn't doing real well because he had missed some big ones, one against us late in the game down there, and so they brought in this kid. That makes sense, and I just thought he was somebody else on their team. But
no, he's from the soccer team. I read about him over the weekend.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I guess that makes sense because I was thinking if this guy could kick all along, why hadn't he been kicking? But that does make total sense that it would be a kid that would come from the soccer program. So, yeah, so that just makes them a stronger team if they have a kicking game now. So
you've played them once. It was a real tough game down in Rockland, although you played without Colby Lee and Croy Albee had gotten injured in that game. So that kind of you were working off the fly. How do you game plan them without giving everything away on the radio to play them this coming Friday?
Yeah, like any opponent, we'll break down the film versus Foxcroft as we have, and then we'll go over it today. We're going to show it to the kids and talk to them. And, Oceanside had some new wrinkles, and that makes sense for a playoff game that they would. So we'll address that with the kids and go over some of the new stuff they did and then reinforce some of the stuff that they've been doing all along defensively. And, offensively, it's always sort of a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to see as far as the other team's defense, especially with an offense like ours, the T. They typically run a 4-4 defense in their games, but against us they ran something different. So, you just have to rep against all kinds of different defenses and hope that our kids are, prepared when they step on the field, no matter what the defense is. And late in the season like this, we've seen a lot of different defenses. So our guys, I think they'll be okay with that. And and then once again, you just continue to work your special teams and get better at that. And this time of year, it's all about execution because there is no tomorrow. And if you don't execute, and you start turning the ball over, then you're going to go home, and that's going to be it for your season. So, for us, it's just getting better each week, and definitely this week, no different.
Dabrowski is certainly one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten. I mean, because he can run it, and he's a very good passer.
Yeah, so he was voted number 2 in the conference for quarterbacks behind the Madison quarterback, and he's the real deal. I mean, he can throw and he can run, and that makes it difficult for a defense because you can't just sit on the pass, and you can't just sit on the run because he can do both. So he's like another running back in their backfield. He's probably their best running back in their backfield. So, yeah, he's a big-time threat, and he gives defensive coordinators, fits. And, so we're working hard. We'll work hard this week as we did last week to prepare for him and, to try to contain what he does.
I'm looking at the Big Ten stats, and Oceanside's just not recognized because they didn't submit at least the passing yardage there. I mean, which is unfortunate because he would have been up he had to have been up in the top 10 or the top couple.
Definitely, it's unfortunate their coach didn't submit any of their stats this year, which is a discredit to his kids, and not it's just not fair to them. But what it is what it is. That's on him. But I mean, Dabrowski is as good as it gets, and if you had the stats on this kid, I'm sure they'd be very, very impressive, and he's one of the best players in our league for sure.
So the health of the team, as we talked last week, you got Drake James back. I mean, are you hitting this week? Or are you taking it easy? What do you do to try and keep everybody sharp but not get hurt?
Right. So as we talked about last week, I'm not a big proponent of hitting in practice, and today will be the same. What we do is we call it thud. So basically, so say our look team offense, which would be the Oceanside offense, would be running against our defense, and we play thud where they go full speed to we actually get to the tackle, and then everybody slows down, and we wrap up and make the play that way. So it doesn't always prevent injury, but it would prevent more injury than if we went full speed for sure and full contact. So we don't do that. Preparation will be the same. Last week it was a little different because we did have the bye week. Now this week, here it is Monday. We'll look at the tape with the kids. Oceanside Foxcroft. We'll lift today, and then we'll do a walkthrough today, and then Tuesday and Wednesday will be our so-called work days, where we really put in our game plan, and then Thursday will be our pregame, where you run through all your special teams and run through your offense and defense, and then you're ready to go come Friday.
What do you want to say to the community? I mean, we've talked about this. We've talked about the fact that the MDI team is playing for the community this year, but you really need to have the stadium packed. I mean, it's just going to be loud and noisy and just full of green and gold.
Definitely. This is a huge game. I mean, if you look at the extended forecast, once again, if you can believe Todd Simcox from WABI, he's saying that Thursday looks rainy, and then Friday morning maybe some showers, but then Friday gets better as the day goes along. So I think the weather itself is going to be good. The temperature, it's that time of year where you're going to be probably down, in the 40s somewhere, but great football weather, great playoff weather, and absolutely, we need as many people out there as we can get. The kids definitely feed off of that energy. They get excited about it. We get the band playing, and it's just a great atmosphere for high school football, and I think you're going to see just a great football game to watch.
Be fantastic to have 2 more games at MDI Foot at the MDI Stadium this year.
Definitely. So, this is a huge game for us. Our goal was to get to the championship, and the way we do that is to beat Oceanside, which is no simple, easy task, because they are the real deal. They're a very good football team, and they will come down here hungry because they want to get to a Northern Maine championship as well. So it's just a great atmosphere all around.
Well, do you want to predict the winner of the Madison Winslow game?
I'm going Winslow. Madison, they were able to knock them off once this year up there, Madison, but I think it'd be very difficult to knock them off 2 times in one season, and I just think, Winslow does such a nice job as far as adjustments from each game, and I'm just thinking Winslow is going to be too tough for them to beat twice this season.
All right. Well, Friday night, 7 o'clock. Pregame will start at 6:40. Love to have you at the stadium. If you're listening around the world, we're going to stream the game, so you can go to the MDI High School YouTube page, and we will be live. Jeff Zayman will be doing that. It'll be in HD. It'll be my call of the game, so it'll be riveting. But it should be good, and it'll be a great game. But again, if you want to come, please come and cheer the Trojans on in person.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.